Welcome to our new video. In this video we are going to talk about Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 3 5G. So without wasting any time, let's get started. This is the Galaxy Z Fold 3, the most recent and most exceptional foldable cell phone from Samsung. I'm here to tell everybody regarding the best foldable phone. You won't find numerous gadgets that seem to be this Fold 3. Utilizing foldable screen innovation, it fits an enormous tablet-like showcase into a structure factor like that of a typical cell phone. While it's collapsed, it's usable basically like a typical phone, yet from the base or the side it seems to be two phones lying on top of one another, associated by a pivot and sharing an inward presentation. By and large, the Z Fold 3 is a piece managed down and lighter than last year, however is a long way from smaller. This year Samsung has found additional ways to make its new foldable gadgets considerably more sturdy. The edge and pivot are built up by something many refer to as reinforcement aluminum, which should be harder and more lightweight, and you get IP evaluated water opposition currently to its IPX8, implying that you get no residue security except for the phone can deal with sprinkles and in any event, being lowered in water. And on top of that you have another plastic layer on the inward screen to shield from scratches, and you have Gorilla Glass Victus insurance on the cover screen. The cover screen is a tall and limited 6.2-inch AMOLED with a 832 by 2268 goal. There's a poke hole for the selfie camera and a quick 120Hz revive rate. New this year, the internal screen is a lot bigger. Of course, like last year, it's a 7.6-inch foldable AMOLED with a 1768 by 2208 goal, and it brings a variable 120Hz invigorate rate too. It makes swiping and looking over much smoother, and the invigorate rate will dial down when you quit communicating with the screen, or on the other hand, on the off chance that the substance doesn't require it to save energy. High edge rate gaming isn't too upheld here, as on the Z Flip you can't empower a worldwide high invigorate rate for games here. So the outcomes can fluctuate for every specific title. To the extent that quality goes, the cover show is very great. The board is more brilliant than last year, maximizing at 480 nits with a slider and 1000 nits in auto mode in splendid sun. In addition to varieties and splendor, settings are tuned to be very like those of the inward screen. In any case, it's the internal showcase which makes the Z Fold 3 so appealing, is impressively more splendid than last year's model. 490 nits with a slider and 920 nits in auto mode when in brilliant sun tones are fairly exact, and there's HDR10 in addition to help the image looks fresh and uniform across the different sides, and it's extra vivid in light of the fact that the phone stows away the selfie camera under the presentation. This tech is flawed, however, on the off chance that you don't look too carefully, it can mix squarely out of spotlight. When the camera is dynamic, the showcase pixels become straightforward. And there's a movement too. This show is flawed. Obviously there is a wrinkle where the screen folds, and it tends to be very noticeable, relying upon the point you can feel it while swiping as well. Be that as it may, when you begin looking past the actual telephone and spotlight on the substance, you'll quit seeing it. This year the Z Fold 3 brings pointer support. You can utilize either Samsung's S Pen Expert or the new S Pen Overlap made explicitly for this telephone. Presently, on to sound. The Z Fold 3 has a couple of sound system speakers which sit at the base and the highest point of the edge, or left and right, contingent upon how you're holding the gadget. They are stunningly clearly, procuring a generally excellent score on our clamor outlines, and they have incredible lucidity and recurrence reaction too. In addition to there's Dolby Atmos support. You can awaken and open the Z Fold 3 with the side-mounted finger impression peruser's power button. It's really quick and exact and works whether the phone is open or shut. What's more, you get choices for 256 or 512 gigs of capacity ready, however it isn't expandable. The point of interaction of the Z Fold 3 is Samsung's One UI 3.1 in view of Android 11. In numerous ways it's equivalent to on other Samsung phones, however there are a lot of novel highlights here too. One exemplary element you get is an edge board which you can store easy roots in, and you likewise get support for Samsung's DeX for associating with a PC or screen. Nonetheless, the imploding screen, a few applications can happen between the cover screen and the essential screen, improving to fit inside the two spaces with the phone fell. The control center lies ordinarily on the base half, so you can use the Z Fold 3 like a tiny PC. It's exorbitantly restricted for straightforward making. There's a near part called Flex View inside maintained applications like the media player or the presentation. Imploding the screen will part the application into a top and base half with the base holding settings or course controls. This is furthermore exceptionally supportive inside the camera application, as it permits you to put the phone on a consistent surface for your shooting, and you have straightforward permission to the controls at the base. And remembering that you're in this mode, the camera could follow you as you move around. In the driving force of the framework, Z Fold 3 is a first-in-class Snapdragon 888 chipset which gives high-level execution as well as 5 grams organization. Things run true to form as you'd expect from a LED, yet appear differently in relation to various telephones that are running a comparable chip. The Z Flip 3 falls behind on the diagrams, especially in plans tests. This could be in light of the fact that conveying things on that gigantic showcase is more problematic. The Z Fold 3 in like manner fights concerning warm organization under tension. The phone quickly heats up and the PC processor execution forced down inside just 5 minutes directly following starting our strain. Preliminary, clearly genuine use isn't exactly so exceptionally troublesome as our testing, yet this phone isn't worked for upheld execution during long gaming gatherings. The Z Fold 3 has a 4400 mAh battery limit that is truly separated into 2 packs, one for each part of the phone. For a device with this much grandstand proceeding and a power-hungry chipset, it's challenging to expect a lot of battery length while using the internal screen. The telephone obtained an unpretentious diligence rating of 75 hours in our prohibitive tests. If using essentially the cover screen, battery term is fairly better with a score of 82 hours in our tests, yet it's at this point not that remarkable. Like Samsung's various chiefs, the Z Fold 3 doesn't ship with the charger. It maintains 25-watt charging anyway, and when we gave it a shot with a power 25-watt Samsung connector, we were just prepared to get from 0 to 33 of every 30 minutes. Fundamentally, you similarly get support for remote charging if you're into that. As of now, we ought to progress forward toward the Z Fold 3's triple cameras. There's an important camera with OIS, a 2x fax camera with OIS, and an ultra-wide camera, all at 12 megapixel. During the day, shots from the basic camera are exceptionally incredible. The taking care of is more accommodating than we've seen from other Samsung. Shots from the ultra-wide camera are decent. Assortments are again unsurprising with those from the other two cameras, and you get an okay proportion of detail and incredible special reach. The selfies can be taken with the 10 megapixel forward-looking camera on the cover screen or the 4 megapixel one that hides under the interior. We ought to kick off the 10 megapixel selfies first. These catch a ton of detail and look sharp. The shortfall of self-change is most certainly not a big deal either, as the middle plane is extremely merciful. Selfies from the undershow camera are okay in quality, yet not uncommon. The light necessities to go through pixels first proceeding showing up at the certifiable point of convergence and sensor, so the picture is gentler and you at times end up with odd assortment lining optical distortions. Still, the taking care of works really in redressing for these things as a rule. Another decision is to take selfies with the back key camera using the cover screen, as a viewfinder accounts can be shot with the essential camera and 4K objective at up to 60 fps 4K video. Here is lead grade with a ton of detail, genuinely wide special reach, and low commotion. Like with the stills, colors pop anyway, aren't as punchy as on other Samsung's 4K video from the fax at 30 fps is lead grade too, yet the assortments are fairly off. From the primary cameras, the ultra-wide shoots exceptionally incredible 4K film with consistent tones in spite of the way that there is more non-abrasiveness and more modest strong reach than the other two. This is typical for this sort of camera. There is electronic change open on all of the cameras on top of the OIS on the key and the fax. It works successfully at smoothing out dubiousness from things like walking, so that is the Samsung Universe Z Fold 3. You get that surprising foldable arrangement that outfits you with a significant AMOLED screen tucked inside. There's a lead chipset, unprecedented sound framework speakers, and a solid plan of cameras. If you liked the video, give the big thumbs up and make sure to subscribe. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.